Alright, it's Roger once again talking about dragons, and guess what, my friends? Geologists now agree the dragon in Morocco is related to the dragon on the east coast of the USA, and all these other ranges here that have the same coloration are what they call the Variscan Orogeny. They are distribution of orogenies, which means mineral-rich zones, which means bodies of creatures with a lot of transition metals. So again, distribution of those things, which are called orogenies, with similar ages to the Variscan orogeny shaded ranges. These apparently were all the creatures, and it appears that there was a big dragon here, a big dragon here. I think that's probably one there. I know there's got to be something serious going on over here. There was a lot of dragon activity, and I'm thinking it was the 200 fallen angels. They were all dragons, right? Satan was a dragon. I can't imagine the other angels weren't dragons. I don't know. Let us make them in our image, and I think the first creatures might have been dragons. I have no clue. I know these people were, these dragons were able to shapeshift. So at this point, I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of lost. But I can tell you what, every one of these is a dragon. I'll show you them on the globe right now, and you'll see them. Now, I did all the ancient texts I could find on this, and where dragon exists, and what they said about, and what their names were, and how they were supposed to look, and how they ate people, and everything else. And I have videos coming out of my ears on this stuff. Now, I'm just going to go over to here, and this is the fluty tail of the dragon that is in the USA. Now, I'll play this. Geological formation. It's not. That's not a geological. Now, remember this. And this I need you to remember for yourself, for when you go up here and start looking around. Look for separations. You see this stuff up here? It's nothing like this. Not a darn thing like it. Look, it's totally different, totally different, totally different. So what are we looking of importance? We're looking at this fluty stuff. So where does that fluty stuff go? That's the Appalachian Mountains. It doesn't go this way. It goes that way. And we know it doesn't go this way. It stays in this band. So let's come back and look at it. Look at that. It goes just all and that is that orogeny that you're talking about. Chokes off right here. And then it continues down this way. So we continue with it. And we continue with it. And we see it continues that fluty stuff. And exactly in, where they say. That same sort of fluty arrangement here. And don't forget, this orogeny is identical time as the other one that we know is the dragon in Morocco. So this is an exceptional revelation in my mind. And we also have over here this one, which that's the head of the dragon, and this is absolutely amazing what's on the head. It's all little squirrely. It looks like all like maybe feathers or something. Like some kind of feathered plumage coming off of that dragon's head. I mean, it is what it is. It's that same fluty looking stuff. And after that, there is none. There's none. You see? There's none. So it comes out to here, there's that fluty plumage sticking right off of the dragon's head. And that's how they show them. It's coming right on the dragon's head in Little Rock. Strange. Strange place. All right, now, what else do we see all here? Down we here, it's all this fluty stuff. I say that's the dragon's nose right there, and that's his head snaking up over this way, and that's the flutiness, whether it laid back this way and just fell this way, I don't know. But I'm looking at all of these patterns, and then I'm looking at some of these rivers and so forth, because he has to breathe, he has to eat, and he has these kind of things, just like the other one in Morocco. So I look down and I say, wow, look at those little crazy things. What is all that about? Look at these swishes and swishes. They're all over his head, all right on the edge of his head. Bordering what I think is his head. And maybe there's, I don't know what they are, but that's not normal. And that's where it borders right at the edge. So What is it doing? Is it feeding scales here? Are these all little scales that are hanging off here, or some need it has to have blood? Because this is literally, at one time, these were blood. What you're looking at when you see these channels and so forth, they were either blood,
bodily fluids,
or they were.
All right, enough of this right here. Let's go and look at the dragon in Morocco, which is down here. And if you don't want to look at them, that's fine. I have no worries about that. But that's the dragon in Morocco. So let's take a look at that one. And oh, by the way, this is when I showed you that fluty looking thing coming off of his head. That's the way they show him. That big flat thing that was sticking up. So who knows about that? I don't. And that's all that stuff going down. All right, so here we go to the dragon. All right, so there is our dragon in Morocco. There's his head. That's the nose that comes up around, and that's that flashy stuff like you saw on the Appalachian dragon, how they have this fluty stuff now, and then it goes into his neck, and he's spitting out stuff. So let's quick take a look at this.
Being in the desert, you're defoliated, And of course, the dragon throat, the same thing. They have a dragon throat. He spits out toxins. This one, the other one, I didn't see any toxins. This one here is very, very clear, very evident. It's identical, literally identical to the most toxic snake venoms.
Yeah, it's really nasty.
See that? Very, very nasty looking stuff. Yeah. All right, and then if you go back from there through his throat, down here, the injectors are all right in here, which these are the red injectors, these are the green. And you see them, they're regular injectors, one right after the other. And the same thing down here. And when they squirt together, it's a flow of death. And that goes down through his throat, and at a certain point, somewhere down around there, the injectors sort of stop. And then each continue though, all the way down his throat. And of course, these are the dragon scales. They're very clear, easy to see. And they are in these little bumps like here, so that the neck can twist and still have that kind of strength. And it was, the whole dragon neck goes,
this is all blood running off. That's all decay and decomposition.
The runoff of a dead, decaying body, and any coroner will understand that. The red and the black and the yellow looking stuff is the blood. And this particular spot right here, in his neck.
All right, I'm going to stop it right here. I say that is cut from a great and mighty sword. That's the only thing I could think of that would cut that, and that's why it's running blood right out of here, and this gash right through there. And there is a whole bunch of more. And I'm going to leave it at that, because I think this, you come up and look at this. It says, new dragon discovered in USA. And this is just one of many. I have literally dozens of dragon videos, dragon fish attack coins. They had coins, they knew about this, they had coins that showed dragons and fish fighting, because underneath that dragon is a fish. The dragon is killing the fish. They knew about this. We lost our history. So what you should do is come up and find your history, because it's up here. It's on Mudfossil University. And by the way, these orogenies are where they mine minerals. Granite is not a natural mineral. I'm going to show and prove that to you right now. This is what they sell as granite. They're cut slabs. What you're seeing here is the white little chunks are bone and mineral, the mineral of limestone, connective tissue, tendons. What the red part you're seeing and the rusty part, that's the rust of blood. Those are blood cells, ferrous oxides. The black part is what you're seeing is the vein blood. The reddish is the rusty, weak arterial blood. The black is the vein blood, and it comes in chunks. What they did was, after the Great Flood, they ground this up like meat grinders and extracted every bit of the metals out of it, and in 32 feet of counter,
That is the only piece of metal that I can find. And you don't get these little chunks all ground up. If you took this to any butcher, he would say, yeah, they just ground up a bunch of leftovers. That's exactly what they did. They stripped all the metals out of here. You don't see any metals. And these granitic intrusions occur alongside of orogenies. I have all the chemistry on this. All right, let me get you that. Hold on. All right, so you know of Mudfossil University. You're here watching the video, I'm sure, and you understand this. I had to start this to create reality in the world and to address the inaccuracies, which are numerous. Now, you can see this is soft. This is not. They ground this up and made granite out of this. They carved their tunnels with their fingernails. They dug wells with their fingernails. It was all soft. It was all just after the flood. These were giant creatures. They were giant human beings. They were giant things. And I have this in copious, voluminous quantities of evidence and supported by DNA, which nobody in the educational environment will even discuss. All right? Take it for what it's worth. Because to take what they are feeding you for what you're paying, it is not worth. All right, this is a paper I did back in August 2016. Granite is recrystallized crushed stone after metal removal. Now, at that time, I thought it was crushed stone. Now I realize it was ground meat. This stuff was completely soft. They process the rock for gold metal removal. It must be completely pulverized acids such as to extract the metals. In this moist state, it would be very simple. Everything is in bodily solution at this point almost. And plus, a lot of the volatile organic things would have gone into solution and left. The heavy metals and so forth would have been the things that would have remained. So it would be much less nasty to work with. And it goes on and on about what basalt is made of and all this. Now, here's the deal. This is why I say that it just doesn't make sense about granite. The worldwide average composition of granite by weight percentage based on all these things is this. And why is there no precious metals in here? There's no gold and all the precious metals. Now, they're taking an average, and they don't understand, first of all, what granite is. So they're going to be mixing the non-real granite and real granite, because they come up with some real granite. But what we're looking for is the platinum group, electrum, and the precious metals. And that's the only thing missing from the granite, which is the granite I showed you, that first granite. Now, I'm going to show you some other granite, and then we'll go from there. Okay, you can see this here. They cut these. This was one big block, and that, I believe, was a creature's possibly no toe. That's a little bit of blood left in it. There's all kinds of minerals in here. This is from an orogeny. These are all the layers. You see the black blood, the red blood, the brown blood, tissue layers everywhere. 100% organic. Nothing like the other granite I showed you. It's quite obvious there's a huge difference. This entire counter is all this exact texture. Same thing. And this is the only piece of metal I could find in it. I just look at every little tiny square inch, but I looked a lot, and that's it. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Geology thinks that Gondwana was attached, the Morocco, to the Allegheny Mountains. They're the same orogeny. They're not. They are not. They're two different creatures. One's a creature way over there, and one's a creature way over here. They never were just one big thing that broke apart. All right, here's how they explain it. Listen to this.
The Variscan or Hercynian orogeny is a geologic mountain-building event caused by late Paleozoic continental collision between Euramerica and Gondwana to form the supercontinent of Pangaea. Nomenclature. The name Variscan comes from the medieval Latin name for the district Variscia, the home of a Germanic tribe, the Varisci. Edward Suess.
All right, that's kind of hard to listen to, but basically they're just, this is all guesses. These are just guesses. This was never one big thing. They're two creatures. There's one over there now that's in Morocco. Here's one over here that's on the Allegheny mountain range. They are clearly two dragons. Geology is so far from correct, and it's destroying our history and probably our eternity, because this plays into every word that was written in the long ago past. And watch out for these kind of things, or I don't know. I don't know what to say about this whole thing at this point. But I sure am not going to say that they were some Gondwana pushing up against the Lorovuska. No. It's time, and for them just to ignore the facts of this reality is very, very distressing, and it's not good for anybody. All right? Thank you. Mudfossil University, only place on the planet right now where there's any reality, my friends. And have it completely ignored. So that's why I'm getting this way. But it's so obvious. This is down in Sampiata, Bolivia. These tire tracks are in tendons. That's a tendon. And these slabs were being cut out of here by a vehicle that had had tire tracks, and it also had tag tracks built in. It was designed to be doing this work. And this is not recent work. These slabs were used in this particular manner to make the walls. Hold on. You see that? That's where they were cutting these slabs, and they moved them back to make these walls. And sometimes these slabs had tissue in them that was not real structural, and I'll show you that. Okay, that is the blood eroding from the tendon walls. And these were put in here wet. Now that was a badly constructed piece. I don't know where these pictures came from, but I know they're accurate. Whoever did take them, I appreciate these kind of things. People send me these things. They're on the internet. I go around, I look for these things, and then I just try to put the pieces together, which I have done. And I have a lot of pieces fit together. The puzzle for me is pretty close to done. And I say that these people were here before, and the yellow dragon, the yellow emperor, was some form of an alien. And they took off during the flood, came back after the flood. He was here 2600 BC, and the flood was at 2300 in that area. And we know immediately after the flood they were mining this stuff. I've got a lot of other stuff on this. I've been really, really working hard at it, and Jody also has been working with me on it. And we're getting, and everybody has, really. I have a lot of input from a lot of different people. So, and that's the nice thing about Mudfossil University. We're not hiding anything from anybody, and everybody contributes because they're interested, not because they're forced to, and everybody sit down and read and shut up. No. We read, we think, we look, we question. If you can't question something, then you just might as well go home and read on your own. So I'm sorry to feel this way, but it is not conducive to gaining knowledge. To just have somebody read to you and discount and dismiss and attack, literally, with prejudice, anything that is introduced into a realm that is their realm, is their way of making their living. I understand that. But they should embrace this because it's coming, and they're going to start looking worse and worse and worse. I don't know how much worse they can look at this point to me, but everybody else, maybe you can fool them, but you already, I can't get fooled yet. Well, ever, to be honest with you. I've sent this to the people that are making the statements that are totally wrong, and I have never had a response. Other than just go away, leave me alone. Or you're a creationist, or, some kind of silly thing like that. Just all kind of nasty things also. And blocked and spam lists and the whole 9 yards. So,
I say, come here, Mudfossil University. I've got a feeling things are going to have to change pretty quick. I mean, I just can't imagine it going on like this. Well, that's the way it's been. And then Velikovsky was destroyed, Tesla was destroyed, all of them right down the line. All you got to do is think and speak and try to make a living in that realm, and you will starve. Right? Thank you all. Okay, to sum it up, no split for Gondwana. It was actually two separate dragons. It wasn't one big mass that split apart. So, I have issues with the whole story of how the Earth works. These were wet tissues that they ground up to take the metals out. That's called alchemy. They were very adept at it. The tunnels and caves were blood vessels and cavities in the body after the body fluids and contents ran out from water and so forth. And they were able to mine those with their fingernails and little sticks and things. They didn't need much to work those. The mineral concentrations are biology in stone. They're not just formed there for no reason. They're because certain parts of your biology and creatures' biology has certain minerals associated to those specific parts. And when you're dealing with giants and you have a heart that is loaded with transition metals, it can be literally enormous. Ayers rock is a heart. KT layer is kaolin clay, which is from eroded skin. The KT layer, they have a new name for it now, but I'm going with KT. It's eroded skin. Kaolinite. I've been saying this, and everybody understands this. It's slip clays. It's the finest clays. It's in the synovial sheaths and the small leucine-rich proteins in the body. All right. The KT was approximately 2,300 years before Christ. So it looks like 2,300 BC to me. That's what it says in the ancient texts, and I have every reason to believe the ancient texts now are mostly factual. Of course, these are speculative dates. I can't guarantee any of these things. I'm just going with what I have put together by what was written, and it's quite obvious that it would have been 2,300 years ago. And I completely dismiss everything that's taught now. Every single word. It really makes no sense at all. They have to reevaluate everything in light of this evidence, and in light of light being able to accelerate, and in light that we're in ether, and all kinds of things are missing. So we took on a challenge, and now we challenge the other universities because we have truth. As long as you got truth, you got God. And in my opinion, God and all are an absolute certainty. All right? Thank you.